would like to ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where are you from? Just for us to have a little basis on how you got into tourism.
I am Millicent Shai, and I am from Pretoria originally, but I now reside in Rustenburg. I trained as a dental therapist, and hospitality and tourism came through the love of traveling. My husband and I love traveling, so we went with a group to tour Namibia, and it's there when we were, driving through the desert and everything that like finally clicked, because we were staying in different kind of accommodation, ranging from tents to 4-star, and we said, you know what, we can do this.
Great, that sounds very interesting. And yeah, in the light of you being in tourism, in this industry, what did you find passionate about the tourism industry, besides that you found your passion? And tell me a little bit more about your job. What is it that you do within the industry?
I am a general manager of the guest house that my husband and I owned. Taking off from the story that I told you, the journey to Namibia was in 2007. And when we came back to Rustenburg, we started looking for an area where we can establish our own guest house. And in 2008, we bought a plot, a 10-hectare plot. From there on, we started building, and we opened our doors in June 2009, and we have never looked backwards again. What I love about this industry is, exceeding one's guest expectations and seeing that smile of contentment and that thank you, not many other ways, but that thank you, you made my day. It make me sleep. Taking somebody from an area of, contentment to excel in whatever we do. That's what we train ourselves, just from the ordinary, make it the extraordinary.
Nice. I like what you're saying. You mentioned that you and your husband started your own business. Do you mind elaborating on that a little?
Always a joke when I tell people, because if you know Rustenburg is a very lovely area, and we wanted something on a plot, not in town. We stay in town, but we wanted something, because I was raised by my paternal grandmother on the farms. And I always told my husband, I want a small holding where we can have chickens and whatever, because I love farm life. So where Thaba Legae is situated is on the outskirts of town in a plot. And the way we went in this plot, we bought it from this schoolman. We identified the place, and the neighbors told us, no, this area belongs to Menier Schoolman, and they gave us the address in town. We went to speak to him. We were standing outside the gate, and he came to meet us at the gate, and we talked, and throughout the process of buying this place from him, we were always on the outside, and he was inside the yard. The only day that we crossed the gate was when we were going to sign the papers. It was not easy, as you can imagine. But finally, he used it as a grazeland, grazeland for cows and whatever. So there was just felt no water, no electricity. We had to start from scratch.
Very inspiring story, actually, I must say, because it's not easy to build yourself from scratch and going through that process of owning your own dream in a sense of living out your passion. And I would
Yes.
take my hat off for you and your husband. It takes courage and it takes guts to get to that point where you like, I want this and this is where I'm going. And you guys succeeded very well, I must say. And it's an inspiration to other people that want to build themselves from scratch, being able to help people explore nature like you guys have, and you've brought that to them. So yeah,
Yeah.
it brings me to my next question. You say that tourism has become a passion and you were inspired by your surroundings, and your background initiated you to begin this business. And what would you say, what does tourism bring to the industry and to this country? What does tourism and the industry contribute to us as people in industry?
You know, from my perspective, as a small guest house owner, I see how it makes a difference to my employees.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 9 permanent employees and 2 casuals. So, we are a team. They know that through their hard work, through their meeting our expectations and uh, the guest expectations,
Mm-hmm.
we can draw in more guests. And
Yeah.
the harder we work, the harder the the feeling of
Yeah.
satisfaction, and even in their pockets, they will pocket more.
Mm.
This makes a difference to their lives because out of the employees that I have, 4 are women and 3 of them
Mm.
are single mothers. One has a matriculant this year, and it's been hard. It's
Mm.
been hard, but we made sure that come what may,
Mm.
even though there will be a reduction in their salary, we are not going to shed any jobs because they are very important. We are struggling. It's not easy, but the difference that we make in their lives, you know, uh, one of my male employees has a student in university, and
Mm.
it humbles me that the little that they earn, they can do such wonders and feed their families. It makes a difference in our community.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And would you say that in this time where we are locked down, where we are pressured by our borders being closed, that how do you think, how are those people coping? How are you coping? How are your family coping with our borders being closed, with us having to induce salaries and incubate our people? How, what is your opinion on that? How does it influence you and your employees?
We sat down with them and had a meeting. And I must thank the government for the UIF tariffs because it it helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And their extension up to August the 15th is so much deserved. But everyone has taken a cut in their
Mm.
salaries. And they are struggling. We are also struggling. We have kids at school, but April was a total disaster. We were closed the whole of April. We only opened mid-May, and we had hope that even though it's closed, maybe our establishment will be used as an isolation or quarantine. And I made investigations and inquired from the department, and we were given hope. But ultimately, it came down to you are too small of a fish. When we isolate, we are looking at bigger establishments. No matter that you had deep cleaned, you had the protocols in place, we were still not suitable enough to clinch that kind of business. We are at a point where we only get 1 or 2 guests in a week. Business, obviously, because Rustenburg is a mining town, but even that is dead. If we get 2 or 3 guests in a week for 2 days, we feel like we have worked. So we are drawing on our reserves, but we don't know how long they will last. But like I said, we made a commitment to our staff that no matter what, we will keep you. Nobody is going to lose their job.
That's very powerful words, there's a lot of other companies that actually had to close down their business, but for you to be able to tell your employees, look, this is how we're going forward. We want you to be part of this. We will fight this. That is very powerful words. And in that sense, if you were placed in a position where you had to address many of these people, like women that lost their jobs, but have so much responsibilities, what what would you tell them? What would you tell them to motivate them to stay strong in this time, to keep on fighting, just like you told your employees? What would you tell those women and those young people in the industry? How can they motivate themselves?
You know, I was raised by a mother who was a domestic worker for a long time. And even though he only went to school up to standard 6, she was very wise. She used to tell us as kids that where there's a will, there's a way. And in my not understanding as a youngster, I told her, Mama, you know, a car has wheels and it moves on the road. It cannot move where there's no way. And she said, you know, when you grow older, you'll understand. And I really understand that your will take you wherever you want to go. So that is what I tell my people and everyone out there, that look at our icon, Madiba. How long did he stay in prison? But he never lost the courage that one day I will be out here and I will be free. So this too shall pass. We don't know the consequences, you know, what will happen, but if we hold fast and say this too shall pass, then we will be able to conquer all.
Wow, thank you. I also had a reference from Madiba in one of my previous interviews, and it's very powerful because where there is a will, there's a way. And I think a lot of people will feel very included in that because this is a very trying time in our industry, in our lives, in our livelihoods for our children. And for us to have that bit of motivation coming from a leader like you that has gone from 0 to 100 and you have never lost perspective and motivation, that would be a lot of inspiration right there. So I really thank you for your time, and I thank you for your patience, and I thank you for the encouragement, for sharing your story with others and with me today.
Okay, thanks very much for the opportunity, Daniel. I really appreciate it so much.